Once you have measured the long bones using either sliding calipers or the osteometric board, then you need to calculate how tall the individual is, or their stature. So this is the equation list from your textbook, the exact same list. As you can see, we classify into different categories based on ancestry and based on sex. The equations are bone specific, so we put a specific bone into each equation, as well as have their own standard error. So assuming a white female, we are going to use the stature equation based on a humerus. So here we have a white female, and that humerus stature measurement is 27.2. So after we use the osteometric board, we got a measurement of 27.2, and we just plug that into the equation. And when we do that, you can see the equation now is 2.534 times 27.2 plus 86.62. Now we have to make sure we remember that we use standard rules of operations. So we're going to multiply first and then add. And when we do that, we get a result of 155.5448 centimeters. Now, that's not an overly usable number for us because it's an average. And what we really want is the range. What's the shortest the individual could be, what's the tallest the individual can be. And that's where the standard error comes into play over here. So to use that, we simply take that standard error and subtract it from our average, and we add it to our average to get our range. So we take 155.54, just rounded slightly, minus 5.32, and 155.54 plus 5.32. And when we do that, we get the result of the range being 150.22 centimeters to 160.86 centimeters. Now, in the US, we don't tend to use centimeters very often. We use a lot more of inches. So if we are having to provide this stature estimation to law enforcement, we would do it in inches. So to get inches, we're going to take those numbers and we're going to divide by 2.54. And when we divide by 2.54, we get that this individual is between 59.14 inches and 63.6 inches. Now, we tend to think of an individual's height as feet and inches. So to do that, we're just going to divide by 12 to get how many feet and take whatever's left over, and that's going to be our inches. So we've got to remember not to take the number into decimals, but just to leave it in inches. So we know that 48 inches is 4 feet and 60 inches is 5 feet. So we know here that this individual is going to be 4'11" to 5'3", roughly, between that range, based again on the humerus measurement of 27.2. Now, if we used a different bone, we'd use a different equation, but the process would be the exact same, regardless of what bone you're using. The key is to make sure you're taking the measurement in centimeters and that you're remembering to follow the standard rules and the standard processes of math, because this is just basic math.